And the big story on the Explosive Exclusive is coming from Birbhum in West Bengal, where in a shocking case, 10 people were killed in horrific political violence.
In fact, it all started when a TMC Panchayat leader was killed in a bomb attack in Birbhum, and subsequently in alleged retributive violence, several huts were set on fire.
Horrifyingly, several people, in fact one family, was burnt alive when they were locked into their house and the fire was set in their hut from the outside. 7 bodies were found from one house alone. The BJP now says that this is a reflection on how the law and order in the state has collapsed. Let's listen in.
रामपुरा में जो घटना घटी है वो उसको निंदा करने के लिए कोई मेरा पास लफ्ज कोई नहीं है, क्योंकि 2 दिन पहले वहाँ का जो उप प्रधान था उसको बम मार के लोकल अपना दल का रूलिंग पार्टी का आदमी बम मार के मार दिया। उसके बाद ये जो घटना घटी है, कोई बोल रहा है कि 10 या 12 और कोई बोल रहा है कि 8 या 10 मतलब आग लग के मर गया। अभी पता नहीं कितना आदमी और मतलब डेथ होगा, क्योंकि वहाँ पे अभी जो हालात है वहाँ का अभी सब हॉस्पिटलाइज्ड है। बहुत मतलब गंदगी की बात है कि राज्य का लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन कौन सी स्टेज में जाके पहुँची है। ये घटना अभी उनको दिखा दे रही है कि कहाँ पे जाके पहुँची है। इस 2 दिन में इस महीने में 2 तो काउंसिलर को मार दिया गोली करके। अभी तो उसका जांच फाइनल भी तो नहीं हुआ। इसके बाद ये घटना घटी गई। इसके कड़ी भाषा से हम निंदा करते हैं। फिर भी इसके साथ राज्य का जो स्वराष्ट्र मंत्री है उनका इसके ऊपर बयान होना चाहिए, इसको टेकअप करना चाहिए।
The administration is required to rise above partisan interests, which, in spite of questions, is not being reflected in reality. I have called upon the Chief Secretary to send me an urgent update on the incident. This matter makes it very difficult to resist that in the state of West Bengal, human rights are in decimation and rule of law has capsized.
In fact, now a BJP delegation has met the Home Minister as well and the West Bengal Governor and asked for action. Amit Shah has sought a report within the next 72 hours.
A joint secretary level officer has also been dispatched to West Bengal. Separately, a BJP delegation will be going to Rampur Hat and send a report back to the party's leadership. However, the local administration is denying a political angle. They say this is a fallout of personal enmity.
It is not political, as I said, but there could be some other rivalry between 2 people over there, which is more of a different kind of a rivalry rather than a political rivalry between 2 different political groups. Definitely chilo. Jadi chilo, then perhaps it was personal enmity between 2 groups, which might have led to the murder of the Upapradhan. And so, if this is a retaliation, as I am right now not confirming whether this fire was because of a retaliation or because of some other incident, it is being looked into. So, if it was, then it was a retaliation because of that murder, which is got reasons in personal enmity, deep-rooted personal enmity, and definitely not between a political rivalry as it appears as of now.
Thanks now, Tamal Saha and Tanushi are both joining us live. If this indeed was not an outcome of political rivalry, Tamal, then what really happened? What are you learning?
Well, yesterday when with the death of Trinamool Congress local Panchayat leader, there had been wide-scale violence. Now that has been admitted. Whether the violence which led to the killing of at least 8 people who have been charged to death, is there a connection between the two? It's something which is subject to investigation as whether it was a retaliatory attack or not. But the question is, could the police have done more? Could they have done enough to have averted the situation? Was there intelligence failure? Because minded, Trinamool Congress Panchayat leader's death itself is a massive political development. Soon after that, what are the preventive measures that police took to ensure there is nothing untoward as a fallout.
Absolutely. In fact, do stay on with us. Tanushree, if I can quickly bring you in, there are also reports that firefighters said that they were prevented from reaching that spot, that they were around, they were stopped from doing their job and rescuing these people. Is that right? Are you picking up something along those lines?
What we are picking up from the DGP is that once the TMC Upa Pradhan was murdered, within 1 hour the houses were set on fire. But immediately, once the police had got knowledge of this, they had immediately rushed to the spot, and so had the firefighters. But suddenly they had found, according to sources, the doors locked and were not, by the time they had opened the door, they had rescued people, but they had rescued 3 who were immediately rushed to the hospital, and nobody had said anything about anybody being stuck in any of the houses. That is what we are getting to know from the sources. But today morning, when the firefighters had finally been able to douse the flames and break into the houses, in one house, that was Sanju Sheikh's house, that is where they found 7 bodies. From one house alone, they had found 7 bodies, and in the hospital, 1 individual had succumbed. So officially, the total death count is 8 till now. We understand that a high-level meeting had taken place between the Chief Minister, Chief Secretary and the DGP, where the Chief Minister has stated categorically that investigation should be done and the strictest of strict action should be taken.
And the action should be taken also against those who allowed for these deaths to take place. Thanks very much, Tanushree and Tamal, for having joined us. Tauseef Ul Rehman, political analyst, joins us along with spokesperson of the BJP, Priyanka Tibrewal. Priyanka Tibrewal, this is personal enmity.
I will clearly say that from the entire act, you can make out that this could have been prevented if the police were active enough, if the administration had not failed, because they fail always because their interests are covered by the party interest. That's the result that we are facing this here. We have heard, Padmaja, that with great power comes great responsibility, but here TMC has failed to acknowledge or adhere to the same.
So wait,
because
are you
BC
saying
with
this
more
is a
power
law and
comes
order
more
problem, or are you saying that this is retributive violence or political violence or communal violence? What are you actually saying?
This is violence which has resulted from political rivalry within the TMC. And the effect which happened was that the Pradhan bombs were hurled on the Pradhan, and later on this is what has happened within their party.
Tauseef Ul Rehman, are things not right within the TMC? Because this, after all, is the seat where the sole councillor seat was won by the CPIM. Somewhere the TMC has lost out in this. Is that a result of TMC's defeat, as the BJP is alleging?
Well, Padmaja, losing someone's life is not acceptable and would never be accepted anywhere in the world, whether it's Bengal or part of India or anywhere else. Now, you have to understand the ruling party's leader losing their life in Birbhum and other parts of Bengal is somewhere it's very mischievous and needs to be investigated thoroughly without jumping that it's a political enmity or it's a political agenda. It's not like that, because TMC's Anupam Datta and Congress Tapan Guntu were killed at the same day from North Chobis Pargana and Purulia district. So you have to understand that who is instigating all these scenes and who is behind everything.
But Tauseef Ul Rehman, then do you think that perhaps there could be a reason why everyone's preempting that it was personal enmity? Why is everyone discounted that there may be politics behind it? Why jump the gun? Probe isn't over yet. See, ma'am, we have to understand and we have to get confirmed by ourselves whether it's political or personal enmity. Now, I do understand your colleague said that it's need to be investigated very nicely, and I agree with Priyanka ji as well that what is happening. So, I will actually blame the police department in Birbhum that they should have been alert. And what about the intelligence department? Because
that is a very good point, Tauseef Ul Rehman. Who does the police department report to? Who does the police department report to?
No, I understand. Once again, the Home Ministry is there.
Who is the Home Minister of West Bengal?
I'm telling you and I assure you, the CM will not let it go.
Who is the Home Minister of West Bengal?
The CM will not let it go. The investigation will be there and thoroughly.
That is very good news, but eight people burnt alive are not going to come back.
Or BJP or Congress. No, that is true. But the same right is happening all over India. People are dying all over India. I am not here to blame
so we shouldn't question.
So there should be a question, but Priyanka Tibrewal, tomorrow if Mamata Banerjee does order a probe, because there's already the centers also stepped in, will you believe a probe which is being done by Mamata Banerjee's government? Priyanka Tibrewal.
Not at all, not at all.
Why not?
You can make it out from the statement of the police. See, even before the investigation is done, what did the police just say in a statement? That we believe that this is personal enmity and nothing related to the party. Why? How is he so sure? The investigation is still in process. He doesn't know. How can he just make a statement like that? Which means that he has made up his mind that the name of the ruling government or the party will not come out anywhere during the investigation. Now I'll tell you, Padmaja, in the last week also, like Tauseef already mentioned, 2 councillors, one from TMC, one from Congress, they were murdered in open daylight. But when, and even the Anis Khan murder, so talked about Anis Khan murder. But whenever the family demands CBI, whenever they talk about bringing in an NIA, the state government refuses. This is their own Pradhan on whom the bombs were hurled.
Blanket sanction, of course, has been removed from the state of West Bengal for the CBI, isn't it?
That's what. So I just say that the Pradhan on whom the bombs were hurled, the matter should have been immediately handed over to the NIA. When the government, their own people are dying, she should be very worried and concerned in knowing the facts behind their murder. But
you are being accused of trying to politicize. Tauseef Ul Rehman says it's not as if crimes don't happen. Crimes happen everywhere. Would you say there's a complete breakdown of law and order when a crime happens in Karnataka or Uttar Pradesh?
Well, I haven't seen that the high courts in Karnataka and Uttar Pradesh, they speak out the number and they say that 2,000 people are out of their houses, and I order the IG and DG to ensure that they go back to their house. Last week itself, I got an order from the High Court where 303 victims, the IG and DG of the state have been asked to ensure that they get police protection and they go back to their houses. I don't find that any such orders come in
Tauseef Ul Rehman, can you just shrug it off by saying we will not let this go when repeated indictments have happened of worsening law and order?
And let's not forget, in the post-poll violence, what really has been the status of that? Absolutely. Who got justice in that? Tauseef Ul Rehman.
No, Padmaja, I told you before only, when I started my statement, I told you this is not acceptable. It is not about which political party you belong. You're a living being, you're a human being. You cannot just go and die with 7 people, 8 people, 9 people, 10 people, 20 people. It cannot happen like this. So the Chief Minister, I'm telling you, will assure everything will go in a right path.
You know, Meghna, it is extremely interesting to see the kind of reactions when the shoe is on the other foot. Now talking about
justice. Now justice should prevail.
Sir, absolutely, justice should prevail in every which case. BJP, but whenever something happens in Hathras or Lakhimpur, you speak of a complete breakdown of law and order, democracy, secularism, what have you. And it goes straight up to the Chief Minister. But when you have repeated incidents happening, post-poll violence, Anis Khan's murder, now 8 people burnt alive, you say this is something that's more of a law and order issue, less than in fact to what the TMC has said officially about this.
Actually, what is the figure? I think Honorable DG, he has briefed the press, and regarding the investigation, he is the best person to inform the media persons. So I have no comment regarding the detailed figure and related issues. But our popular leader, he has been killed, and later one fire incident happened. And that area, that village, there were no political tension in that village. So we are apprehending of larger conspiracy to disturb TMC and to disturb Bengal.
The fire incident, that's what the TMC is calling that entire orgy of violence that we saw. Tauseef Ul Rehman, one quick question to you. Isn't it true that within 1 hour of the death of this TMC leader that there was violence? How is the TMC, how are its ministers, how are its MPs, and even the DGP who's given a soundbite so very certain it has nothing to do with politics?
First of all, whoever is behind this whole scenario and whoever is behind this whole case...
Yes, I got that. The TMC will be looking into it and ensuring justice. We got that.
Before 2000...
That wasn't my question.
No. This same thing was happening in 2021 before assembly election. And again, the Panchayat election is going to come. So I want to know who is instigating all this.
Okay, Priyanka Tibrewal, the insinuation seems to be that you instigated
BJP. That who is instigating? Panchayat is very near.
Such a failure of the government.
So if the Panchayat is coming once again, so वही वाली बात हो गई ना कि शहर में कुछ हुआ है क्या पता कराओ कि चुनाव है क्या.
So Tauseef Ul Rehman, you admit that such is the TMC government, anyone instigates, then violence happens, and your government, TMC government, is going to preside over all these instigations.
So why would you?
So it's a failure of the state. Someone? At least you are agreeing there.
No. This is your assumption that there's instigation. Let Priyanka Tibrewal answer.
Why do you instigate?
That is what I am
Why you want to
saying,
start
such
again
a
this whole criminal chapter in West Bengal when it is not there? Where people are
Sir, 8 people have died. 8 dead people and their families will disagree. You are saying a chapter has been started.
Just to gain votes? Is this not enough?
That is what I am saying, Tauseef. I think you've already spoken. Please allow me to speak.
Okay, Priyanka, let Priyanka Tibrewal answer.
Flat on your face.
So that is what I am saying. Such a failure of the state government, where who takes care of this Home Ministry Department of Police? The Chief Minister herself. Every week there are killings like this, but no steps are being taken. They are quiet, they are mum over it, and now they are saying that somebody is conspiring. If someone is conspiring, police administration is there. What is your administration doing? What an inefficiency. How can you even question that? Just look at this, that party people, their own party
well, just to put the facts out simply, this is a TMC-run state. The law and order is overseen by the Chief Minister, who is also the Home Minister. When there is a law and order issue, when 8 lives and perhaps more are lost, it has to be onus which lies with the ruling party and not the opposition party. Just to keep that straight. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. Thank you so much, Priyanka Tibrewal as well as Tauseef Ul Rehman.